imagination.
This is 3D or 2D.com's Duh 3D Show.
Put on your 3D glasses now.
If you're wondering what the 3D stand for, they are discussion, debate, and the news. We hope that you enjoy the show. Get it? The show? Hello. Welcome to 103. I'm Adolf Vega. I have with me the fantastic Classic Jake.
Hello, folks.
And the super duper new Jake.
Hi, everybody.
And it's been a little bit since we had the 3D show, and we have a lot of topics to cover. So let's just keep going through the list because we just had a lot of things to talk about. So Jungle Cruise is officially getting a sequel from Disney. I'm happy. Yay. I'm very happy about this.
Good movie.
Yeah.
It makes complete sense. And I love the 3D in this movie. One of my favorite movies of this year. So I'm very excited for this. I love this. So yes. Gimme.
Yes. More of this 3D, please.
Yes.
Now, I don't want this to become the next Pirates, where it became just like 10 movies, and not really 10 movies, but it became just so many of the same movies that you lost track of them. So I do not want that. Not interested in that at all.
Yeah. I don't want a 3-hour Jungle Cruise movie.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely game for more of this, and it's good. It's good to know, because I was a little bit worried about this because, it did, start the summer off, and it's made some money, but probably not as much money as I was thinking it was going to. I don't know about y'all.
I mean, for a pandemic, it's done really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me see the box office numbers. It has made about 206, which you would think it's not that bad for a movie. 100 in each in domestic U.S. and 100 in worldwide. Now, I don't know if China is part of this or not, because I know it's really weird with what releases over there and what doesn't get released over there now. But in the normal times before COVID, I think 206 could have been the opening weekend.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's not bad though.
No.
Yeah.
Now, something that is a hit, and is actually a pretty nice hit, Shang Chi.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Best 3D this year.
Yeah, well deserved. Hey, Tony Leung's American debut. Hollywood just knocked it out of the park. 4 weeks at number one.
Yeah.
It's been quite a while since that's happened.
I want to say, what film was that? Tenet was like the last one that had like number one for like 5 weeks straight, but that wasn't hard to do.
Yeah. And it got credited because there were so few movies in the pandemic, so we didn't even get real props for it.
Yeah.
So this success has basically said, yes, movies are here to stay. It's not as good as 2019, but it's not as bad as 2020, and it's gotten a lot of hope back into the movie studios, I think. I don't think there's any delays right now that I know of. So I think they've pretty much all kept their place. And that's a big deal. I was really expecting to be an avalanche of movies to get delayed. And because of Shang-Chi, now, Classic Jake, you mentioned that this was probably going to be the indicator, and I think you're right, that this success has basically allowed everyone else in Hollywood to say, full steam ahead, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pushing dates up of lots of stuff. It's like willy-nilly, we're getting lots of stuff because everybody sees that people are wanting to see movies again.
Now, Disney did say that they have now, they're going to solidify a 30-day theatrical run. So that's, if you want to just wait, you can wait to watch it at home for a month later. It's at least solidified. Shang-Chi did not get a Disney Plus premiere access, or I don't think it did it?
No, not yet.
So to get people out to the theaters, all right, cool. I think most theaters are pretty okay with that. Obviously they would want 45 days or 60 days, but I think they could deal with 30 days if they don't have to compete with it being digitally accessible at the same time,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that HBO Max next year is not going to be doing day and date stuff like they did this year.
No. It's cannibalized all their films that's been released in theaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're having to pay out contracts with the assumption that these movies hit big, and they're not.
But their subscription numbers are doing really good for HBO Max.
Yeah. So it was a short-term gain, but it's also pissed off a lot of people in that time.
Yeah,
right,
and it's also wound up that Discovery now owns Warner Brothers, but they haven't taken over yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
When they take over, it's going to be interesting. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this 30-day run is actually really good, and gives people opportunity to go see it in the theaters. If you're not interested, you're probably not going to see it if you're not going to see it in the first 30 days, you're probably not going to see it at all, theatrically. So it makes sense, and I imagine that maybe behind the scenes, Blu-ray dates probably go up too. It's not going to take 6 months for a Blu-ray or 3 months. Probably take 2.5 or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But PDF seems almost like an afterthought these days. They don't seem to take it that serious anymore, which is sad.
Well, that's because physical is sadly dying, and streaming is number one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kiddos who have decided streaming is the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
When you buy something on a streaming platform, they can take it away from you anytime.
Yep.
Just saying.
They go clamoring for a new, their movie, and it's like, oh, it's not here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless it's exclusive, they don't have it. Every month there's articles, what's coming in Netflix and what's leaving Netflix. And that's just kind of the system. And, today you have it, tomorrow you don't have it. And if it's a Netflix exclusive, then okay, sure, you'll have it this month. And, until they cancel it in 3 years or something. But still, that's kind of the deal right now, where it's going to be, it's just that balance of trying to figure out the best way of handling this with, I guess, in some ways, the pandemic numbers are going a little bit lower, but it's still really bad out there. It's just, I don't know. The average is starting to go down from some of the worst of it, but I don't know if that's going to stay or what. If more people are just getting vaccinated and just getting it, that's taking in, I don't know. But it seems like the theaters, people are not too scared to go to theaters right now. The numbers are that awesome, but they're still pretty good.
For like Shang-Chi, for a non-pandemic movie, it's doing extremely well.
Yeah.
For an unproven IP, so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this has given Sony more of a instinct to push up Venom, which was supposed to be mid-October, and now it's October 1st. So it got pushed up, which is super rare now. And so that's coming out next week as we record this, because Classic Jake, when are we recording this podcast?
We are recording this podcast, dun dun dun, on Sunday, September 26th.
At what time, New Jake?
At 1:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
At 2021 of the year.
Yes. 80.
So, just putting that date out there so that way in the future people will be like, oh, you didn't talk about this news that came out on September 30th. Well, we don't know what happens then. That's future for us.
Yeah, that's the future for us right now.
So, hey, it's cool that Venom is moving up. I think it's going to do really well in October. I
Oh
think,
yeah.
yeah, it's going to probably be what finally knocks out Shang-Chi from the number one list, I think.
Oh, definitely. It's a new Marvel movie, and Venom 1 did extremely well. It'll do fine.
Yeah.
So, one thing that's kind of interesting to note is that there is no release date that I know of for Shang-Chi in China, and maybe not for Eternals either.
Yeah, there's reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Winnie the Pooh is really sensitive these days.
So I guess the Chinese were worried that Shang-Chi would have Fu Manchu and have, some of the history with this character. But for people that have seen this movie, which all of us have, this is a love letter to Chinese culture and Asian culture. So I don't see why anyone would be really pissed off. I think they handled it perfectly. But I'm not Asian, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it has nothing to do with the movies. They're doing this because some of the ABCs in these movies, and also some of the people who were native to mainland China, have criticized the regime, and they got butthurt about it. Well, why don't you quit acting like a terrorist and treat people with decency and respect, and maybe your people won't say crap.
And now we're banned from China.
Yeah, that's basically. And suck it up, Winnie the Pooh. With leadership comes criticism.
Yeah, I mean, Jake is right. Ultimately, Jake is right. And this is going to be an interesting thing because if Shang-Chi and Eternals don't get any releases there, I'm obviously the fans of Marvel movies in China will find other ways to watch it, not legally.
Oh,
Already
coming soon to VCD.
Yeah, they probably already have it with the pirated VCDs, DVDs, and pirated Blu-rays. And the pirates are thanking the gods or Winnie the Pooh for creating this black market of demand for them.
Yes.
So they're going to watch the movie.
So physical media is doing well in China.
Oh yeah.
So piracy is going to happen there. It always happens. It's just kind of part of the deal. But ultimately, this is going to be a huge thing because we've had, for the last decade or so, Chinese pandering in movies where there's things that are happening that are made for China, that are made to make money in China, scenes done, actors put in, and, things not said or things not done to not offend them. And this is actually good if China does hold and doesn't release big Hollywood movies because of this. It's a big deal because Disney is, when they made, release dates for these movies and greenlit these movies, they expect to get money from China too. It goes back and forth between China and America being the number one movie theater market in the world. But if Shang-Chi can never get theatrical money from China, and Eternals and future movies, that's a big deal. Future movies may not get greenlit if they can't depend on the rest of the world financing it. If they can't assume China, if China's not going to give them any money, they may not do certain movies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think Disney will just start kissing ass again.
Yeah, Disney's a pro at this. I mean,
they like money.
Yeah, and I could go on and on about some of the schemes they've come up with to get money out of China, and some of them are hilarious and cringy, and it's kind of pathetic, actually.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with this, but it is something to take note because if China gets really mad and doesn't ever want to do Hollywood movies, it's going to be an impact, and certain movies won't get made, and or they might go straight to streaming because they don't have faith in it to be theatrical, and that's a major change in how movie studios expect money to be made.
Yeah, because I don't think Shang-Chi will probably make $1 billion because it's not getting a Chinese release.
Yeah.
Which is sad because it deserves it. It's a really great movie. It's fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great 3D.
Yep. I gave it a 10 and I still stand by it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. It's going to be something to really note of. There's a lot of movies that we, talk about and they don't do that well in America, but maybe they do great in China, and that's why they exist. So it might be some of those things where we don't get sequels,
Yeah, we may not get a sequel to Warcraft now.
Yeah, because Warcraft was pretty much a bomb here in the U.S., but it made bank in China, right?
It made serious bank in China.
Yeah.
So they were talking about just greenlighting a sequel pretty much for China.
So there's definitely interesting there. So there's been a lot of talk, and I don't know how much of it is going to happen. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, because I don't know if it's true. I think is Venom going to be with Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man? Yes or no? I don't know, but there seems to be a lot more rumblings about this than just fanboys excited. There seems to be some fire to this, or some smoke to this fire. And is this going to happen in Venom 2? Is this going to happen in Spider-Man No Way Home? Is this going to happen after that? What do you guys think?
I mean, I think that's why that poster was posted from the Facebook page that said, "Don't post any spoilers," because I think it may have something to do with Spider-Man and Venom 2, possibly. So I think there's some water that could be held there.
I would not be surprised if Spider-Man pops up in a stinger, in an end credit scene.
Yeah, and that'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty good secret, because definitely we haven't heard anything. We all have wanted it. I think it makes sense. Sony has control over the Spider-Man for now. We'll get back to that story, but
yeah, there's serious tea about that.
Sony has the film rights to Spider-Man and certain Marvel characters, so they definitely want to have that synergy between the Spider-Man and Spider-Man No Way Home broke Avengers Endgame record on YouTube and had the most views in 24 hours, and that is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of hype for that movie, and I think it's going to be the biggest blockbuster of the year. I think
may be the first $1 billion one that we've had since Star Wars.
Yeah, it might be the biggest movie this year by far, and I think everyone's going to want to see that movie come Christmas. So,
because it's exclusive to theaters.
So we'll see what happens with Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Venom, and Sony. Now,
and see if it gets a Chinese release.
Yeah,
it will. That one will definitely.
Yeah, I don't think any of them have ever said anything about China.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's going to be part of the PR and the behind-the-scenes stuff. Shut up.
Yeah, Tom Hardy, shut the fuck up.
Or maybe they'll be preemptive and I'll do their John Cena whines.
Oh, yeah, you got to do the whole Taiwan thing.
Taiwan is not a country. And I'm like, yeah, since when?
1949.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think they're going to have basically a shut up mandate from anyone. Yeah. Just don't talk about any politics. Nothing about vaccines. Nothing.
I'm Holland. Just spoil stuff. Yeah. Spoil stuff.
So, because, I mean, the difference between millions and millions of dollars and if movie doesn't get Asian release, and if it doesn't get out there, if people don't want to watch it because of controversy, because someone doesn't, it could. Right now, it's such a pivotal time for theaters and for movies and 3D. If right now, if it doesn't come back, it's going to be hard to come back. So, so something that. Okay, I have no segue for this. I try, but Addams Family 2, I don't think it's a 3D movie anymore.
Thank Christ.
Yes, there is a deity looking out after us.
Me especially. Thank you, deity.
So, this movie is supposed to come out next week as a record date, and there is absolutely no theaters around us that have this movie in 3D.
No. Like, there's no mention on the website, on posters, and trailers, anything.
Yeah, I landed on the first one. Yeah, that was the hand grenade I took.
I mean, I seen it voluntarily before I even joined the podcast, and I wasn't too pleased about it, but I seen it.
I went to go see that on my birthday as a free movie, and I was like, this sucks.
Did you see it in 3D?
Yeah.
Even for free? Oh, yeah.
No,
I paid $14 a ticket. Oh, it wasn't free.
No, it wasn't free. It wasn't 3D. It was just, it was at the Alamo,
Oh, hopefully you got super drunk at it.
Well, no, but, that poor Alamo is not here anymore. So they didn't survive the pandemic, unfortunately. So.
Rest in peace.
Well, I ended up paying for my mother, and that was not fun. Because there's nothing worse than taking your mother to the movies, and it's not a good movie.
It's weird. It really is, because these animated movies almost always get 3D releases.
Yeah, it's strange.
And I just assumed that this would get one too. This is a noteworthy franchise. The first one got a 3D release, so why wouldn't this one get a 3D release? I don't know.
I may have an explanation for this. MGM is releasing the film, and MGM has another film coming out the following week, which is a bigger franchise than this one, so I think that's why they did it.
And it's getting its first 3D release.
Yes.
So, yeah, Addams Family 2. We'll probably watch this eventually and make it for patrons, but I'm not in any rush to see this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's not even coming to IMAX or like premium large formats. That's just a really odd thing. Maybe it's because it's the day and date with streaming. I don't know. It seems like a lower risk than James Bond, so that's probably why there's no 3D. Just flat.
All right, so let's get into some drama. Maria Lucas has said publicly that she hates the sequels, and later said she also hates the prequels of Star Wars. Now, I don't know where she's been all this time and now decided to speak up. I don't know what the deal is with that, but...
Well, I mean, she has been divorced from George for quite a long time, and she did single-handedly save Star Wars from becoming, what it originally was supposed to be, which was shit.
Yeah, Disney, why don't you put her in charge?
So, she's not wrong.
No. She is well... I mean, she earned her Oscar for good reason, and she has a right to speak her piece about it, because she is absolutely right.
Yeah, well, she has the right, but I think you should listen to her, because her opinion is quite educated.
Yes, I mean, she was married to the man. She worked on the films. She is incredibly smart, Oscar-winning editor.
Yeah, exactly.
Great opinion.
I'm like, Disney, why is she not running Star Wars?
Yeah. Well, because I don't think George had it in the settlement for the divorce.
Yeah, exactly.
because it's one of those things where I was really positive on The Force Awakens when it came out. I was like, people were giving it crap for being a remake of New Hope, and I still really enjoyed it. And I was like, okay, I'm not, everyone seemed to hate the next one and
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, and it kind of, by the time the last one came out, it just kind of felt like you really didn't notice that they did not have a plan for this series. And
Yeah, it felt like season 8 of Game of Thrones. Just get it over with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing I would probably disagree with her is I really did like Rogue One.
Yeah, that's the only one that was fairly decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it a lot. In fact, I said it was the best Star Wars since Empire.
I like Rogue One. I love people who love that movie. I don't really get the love for it. I think it's really good, but I don't think it's something I want to see again.
I mean, you don't need the movie because everything is explained in the opening scroll of A New Hope. So, I mean, that movie's basically made to make money.
Yeah.
And look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the sequels, if they just had a plan, because like the second movie, they decided just to subvert all expectations and change everything, and I was okay with that, but a lot of people weren't, and then they changed things back, and it just felt like at the last minute, oh yeah, let's do this, let's do that, and it's like, no, and I feel like I overrated it too much, the movies in retrospect, and the prequels are bad too.
They're worse, but I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Now I think some millennials are like, "Oh, I grew up on those movies. They're good." No, they're not. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
George Lucas I have to say it, is not a great filmmaker at all. Like, not directing or writing or even producing for the most part. He's just an idea man who sometimes strikes lightning or strikes gold.
He's efficient.
Very rare.
He has directed great movies, though. American Graffiti is an incredible movie.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but like THX 1138 is okay. But I mean, there's a reason.
The short film's better than the theatrical version.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I haven't seen American Graffiti. I really have no desire to. It just seems like Happy Days with less humor.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Happy Days was ripped off from American Graffiti.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. But American Graffiti is such a great movie. It's a day in the life of a time period that's gone, and it really captured it very well. I mean, it's one of my dad's absolute favorite movies.
I'd rather watch Hollywood Nights.
All right. Anyway,
it's funnier.
So yeah, it's interesting that this drama's come up. Like, it kind of seems random. Like, okay,
because now it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, you got the Mandalorian, so maybe she's hoping that'll affect it. I don't know.
I mean, I love the Mandalorian. I think Mandalorian is the best Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. Or maybe this was somebody finally talked to her. Nobody's asked her.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Star Wars, we got some TV news, and this is not really 3D news, but we got to talk about this because I imagine there could be some good 3D releases of the prequels, and one of the main characters of the prequels that I love, Obi-Wan Kenobi, is getting his own TV show, which I think we're all excited for. We all like that Obi-Wan, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I just don't care about Star Wars that much.
All right, so they have confirmed that Anakin is going to be in this movie, and that Hayden Christensen is going to reprise his role, and McGregor is going to reprise his role as Obi-Wan, and it's going to be directed by Deborah Chow, who did Mandalorian. So everything here is ripe for great Star Wars.
Why is this needed? We don't need it. It's useless to me. Especially with them.
It's to get subscribers to Disney Plus.
It's just like, I don't care. I mean, I like McGregor as Obi-Wan, but I just don't like Hayden Christensen at all as an actor. He was awful as Anakin. And, I don't know.
I'm over Star Wars. I'm just too many bad things. I mean, I like The Mandalorian, but the good to bad ratio on Star Wars, and then the fandom is so unfun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so toxic.
Yeah.
You know what's not toxic? The chocolate from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory.
Mm.
Terrible segue, but
It's a segue.
Yeah, you actually had one.
Yeah. And he didn't drive it off a cliff.
All right.
Nope.
Netflix has gotten the rights to the Ronald Dahl Company for future stuff for TV shows and movies. Now, I don't think they can have the rights to any movies because I think they're in different studios. I don't remember who made the George and the Giant Peach movie. And, I don't think
Disney.
Yeah, Willy Wonka, is that Warner Brothers, I think? I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's Warner Brothers now, yeah.
So I don't think they're going to get the old stuff, but they will get the new stuff. Now, there's a lot of stuff that from Ron Dow that has never come out to be movies, but, you know, I definitely think it's interesting.
And he didn't do just kid stuff either.
No.
The Big FG, remember that one?
I mean, it's a prequel to Doom.
Yeah.
So BFG, you know, big friendly giant, not gun.
Yeah.
You know, that was actually a decent movie, not great, but it was fine.
Steven Spielberg, yeah. He did all right with it.
I'm guessing that they're going to make a new Charlie and Chocolate Factory because the last one...
they're doing a prequel to the Wonka movies coming out in a couple years.
So none of those movies will get a 3D release because Netflix does not do 3D and they don't really do theatrical stuff. It's going to be on Netflix. So
yeah, I think the last 3D thing they did was the Crouching Tiger sequel.
Yeah, China only.
So
They
yeah,
did a Hong Kong 3D release.
Yeah.
Matilda is part of the there, which I didn't know that was part of that, and then the Witches was also part of that, which is on HBO Max. So,
Matilda.
Yeah,
it's a good Roald Dahl book.
There's a lot of stuff.
Sony.
A lot of stuff that we don't know.
I mean, he even wrote a couple of James Bond movies. So I mean, hey, maybe they'll toss those in the mix.
Oh yeah, I could see James Bond versus Willy Wonka.
Hey, I'll be down.
Yeah, so would I.
Maybe that movie will show us the secrets of Dumbledore as well.
That's stretching it. That's a dad joke. You just turned that segue into a dad joke.
Okay. We got Fantastic Beasts 3, a release date and title. Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore is scheduled to release on April 15th, 2022. Now, me and Classic Jake defend the second movie. Everyone seemed to hate that movie, though. But
it was pretty good, and the 3D was great.
Oh, yeah. 3D is great on that.
I have never seen any Harry Potter movies past film 5.
The Fantastic Beasts series, I feel it's hard to recommend because ultimately it doesn't really matter compared to the Harry Potter universe.
Yeah.
And only the first movie was about the beasts, really. The second movie was not really about that. It was about fascism.
Yeah.
And the rise of fascism, which, you know, is neither here or there, but...
Yeah, it's, you can watch the news for free.
Yeah. But not in 3D.
It depends on your TV.
Yeah.
Since
some have a Switch, you can add depth to your news viewing.
Nah, I don't want to. It's scary enough.
Yeah.
since the 2018 Crimes of Grindelwald was not a huge hit, Warner Brothers did take some time, extra time, to make this movie. So it's been on the back burner for a little while now. But hey, it's coming out next April, which I'm assuming that we might get a trailer for this maybe soon. Maybe with Dune, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Maybe beginning of the year? I don't know.
Yeah. They need to start pushing it out, you know?
Mm-hmm. If they want to make any money on it.
Yeah.
So, look, I kind of feel like I'm hoping they wrap this up. Originally, they did say it was going to be a trilogy and then, a five movie series, and with the second one not doing that well, and I think the first one doing pretty well, but not as good as they wanted. They could probably just get away with wrapping up the story in the third movie and just being done.
Well, then we got to get the Cursed Child or whatever that one book that everybody hates, and then we got to get the remakes and the TV series and the video games. It's never going to end. I
heard the great things about the Cursed Child play for Harry Potter. I'm actually game for that because I think it would be just about enough time for the actors to reprise their roles and be the right age when because it's supposed to be a sequel with Harry and their kids, and they're supposed to be middle age, and now they are that age, so that would work. Obviously, Harry Potter was a huge franchise for Warner Brothers, and the last few Harry Potter movies were 3D, but I don't remember them being good 3D. But I don't know.
Yeah.
And they definitely want another franchise. They want something else to be big. Johnny Depp was going to be Grindelwald, and he's not going to be in this. So
damn you, cancel culture.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. It's his wife's fault for the whole thing.
Yeah, we heard the audio tape.
Amber Turd.
Yeah, and I'm like, why isn't she canceled?
Because
she's a woman.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. They're gonna I forget who the new Grindelwald is gonna be.
Mads Mikkelsen, another James Bond veteran.
Real, yeah, and he played Hannibal Lecter on the TV show Hannibal. Great actor.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Lots of 3D stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it great, some of it not so great.
Yeah.
But he's interesting.
Do you guys think this is going to be it, and we're going to continue on if it can, are they going to write it into a conclusion or not? I guess.
If it's a hit, they'll make another one to make more money.
All right, Classic Jake, you think?
If they're smart, they'll wrap it up, but I don't think they're smart. I think Discovery is going, when they get a hold of it, they're going to cut their losses and either put it on, spin it off into something for HBO Max, or drop it like a hot potato.
No, it's going to be like a new Wizarding World. There's going to be remakes and everything. Probably it's going to be like the Lord of the Rings TV series on Amazon. It's just going to be, we're going to spend $500 million on a Harry Potter TV series.
I know it's going to not be the Fantastic Beasts. I think that franchise has kind of hit a dead end financially.
And, I have to we talked about Star Wars not having a plan. I'm sorry, JK has not had a plan for this series at all. JK Rowling had not make a plan for these movies. They feel completely separate from each movie, and yeah.
I really don't want to support J.K. Rowling because of her transphobia, but I don't know. I do enjoy the world of Harry Potter, so it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I don't know why she's so become toxic with that. Like, besides that, she's really cool, but, I don't understand that hate at all. She's just hate. It's just disgusting to see how she's changed.
It's the privilege, possibly.
And you would think an author would know the difference between the term sex and gender and know that they're not the same thing. She's just become a turf. It's sad.
Yeah.
we here in 3D City definitely support trans, gay, lesbians of all sorts. We are very open and positive toward that, so we don't have any hate. We're trying not to. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's keep going here. We got some big movie news from Nintendo.
Woohoo!
So we knew about this movie for a while. They've just been dead silent about it. And this week, Nintendo had a Nintendo Direct presentation where they presented games and information for their upcoming Switch releases for the fall and next year. And they kind of surprised everyone with movie news because we've known about the Super Mario Brothers movie, but we haven't heard anything. It's been completely silent. We haven't had a trailer. We don't have a teaser. We didn't have anything. And the only thing we knew was that Illumination was going to help make it. And it was supposed to come out in 2022. So now we got actual concrete information, not a trailer, which I imagine that Nintendo is going to have the first, they're going to show the trailer off first. But if it's coming out, we got a new release date. It's coming out Christmas of next year. So we're probably going to not get that. That might be like an E3 thing, maybe, of next year for Nintendo.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, this is going to be perfect. They're going to have that. This is going to be a early prediction for 2022 when Illumination releases Minions 3. It will have Super Mario trailer on top of it.
Oh, you mean Minions 2?
Minions 2, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Despicable Me 5.
Yeah.
All right. So the cast. Who is in Mario? Super Mario Brothers movie, not the video game cast, which is very important. First, we got to say that because Mario has had the same voice actor for 20 years, 30 years, at least
25.
Yeah, at least 25. Because it depends what I think. There's like one PC game that came out like early 90s or something. But
yeah, it was that in Mario 64 is when they had Charles Martin as the voice of Mario and Luigi.
And he's been the Mario that we all kind of, you hear him beginning of Mario 64, you hear him, doing everything. He's been around and he's been doing that, and he's not the main voice actor for this movie.
No.
Which is kind of shocking. They did say he has a role in this movie of some sort.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if he didn't want it. My guess is that Nintendo just wants to divorce it and say, the movie is a movie, the game is a game, and just have different voice actors. And I think that makes sense.
I think they just wanted known stars to help their bottom line.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so this is going to be an animated movie from Illumination, which Illumination has a very mixed track record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it's not a yellow Smurf, they don't seem to put a lot of effort into it.
Just to put it out there, Despicable Me series, including the Minions, Hop, which I did not watch, Lorax, I did not watch.
It was okay.
Yeah, Lorax was okay.
3D was really good.
Secret Life of Pets 1 and 2, not bad, just not great.
I only seen the first one. It was okay.
It's basic. Second one, the only interest is a Harrison Ford, and you'll get bored in about 5 minutes. Him playing a dog.
I mean, the only really good movie they did was Despicable Me 1. That's it.
Yeah.
The others are just generic money makers.
Yeah, the others, they got the wrong lessons from it.
Yeah, people love these yellow Twinkies.
Whatever. To me, it was the Gru becoming a father.
Yeah, and then they just 180'd that, and they ignored the girls, and they just spice shenanigans.
Yeah, it kind of made them Smurfs.
Yeah.
I will defend saying that it's actually a pretty decent movie. But none of the
seen it.
Grinch is actually really good too.
No.
Classic Jake, you reviewed Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
I
thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was above average. No, Benedict Cumberbatch doing an American accent. I thought he was spot on. And the relationship with him and Max, that was what made that movie work for me.
I mean, but he's not even Grinchy. He is just mildly perturbed by Christmas. He is not a Grinch. He just, it's like, I'm indifferent.
To me, it worked.
To me, it worked too. So,
man.
and the character designs were spot on, and I thought the 3D was gorgeous.
I haven't seen the 3D, but I mean, the character design looked okay, but the humor was just bad, and he just wasn't a Grinch.
I thought the stuff with the Grinch and Max worked. And
yeah.
Gave it what I gave it. It didn't earn higher than that. And what put it over a 7 was the animation. And the character. I thought for Illumination, they went above and beyond for once.
Yeah. All right, so I guess for Illumination overall, we all kind of agree that they are mediocre, sometimes good, but not great or wonderful.
One great film.
So that's their pedigree. Now, Nintendo said that Miyamoto, the creator of Mario and many, many, many awesome Nintendo games, is executive producing this. So that's kind of scary because I don't know if he knows how to make movies. But let's get to the actual character list. So Chris Pratt will be playing Super Mario himself. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, he's a fine actor, and he's done vocal performances before in the Lego movies, and he's done fine. But yet again, I kind of don't want to support him because of some of his backwards beliefs is very troublesome.
Yeah, we'll have to see a trailer to know, but I'm not sure about Chris Pratt. I like him overall. He's okay. I just don't love him. I think it's maybe the last movie, the Amazon movie he did, rubbed me the wrong way. But
that Tomorrow War,
yeah. So, okay, Mario. We'll see. Do you have any other person that could have been a better Mario?
Bob Hoskins, Captain Lou Albano.
Wow.
Okay. But rest in peace, both of you.
Tom Hanks.
I think Danny DeVito would have been great.
Yeah, Danny DeVito. Hilarious. Hey, Tom Hanks could have done it.
Roberto Benigni, because he's actually Italian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm still doubling down on Danny DeVito. I think he would have been perfect.
That's probably the best place.
He should have been Detective Pikachu as well. But that's another story.
Yeah.
I may even say that Joe Pesci might have been fun in this too.
That would be interesting. An F-bomb throwing Mario. Yes, I'm down.
No, I mean, I know he's gonna have to water down, but I do think John Pesci would be fun. All right, so next character, Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach. I have no idea who that is.
She was in the New Mutants. She was in the Queen's Gambit on Netflix. She's a rising star. She was in The Witch. Pretty good actress. I think it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, I don't know how distinctive her voice is.
If you've watched the New Mutants and you've seen her other stuff, it's quite diverse, and she's really good.
Okay.
Now, Peach has always had a super high-pitched voice in the games. So is Anna Taylor have that voice too, or no?
I mean, her natural voice doesn't really, but I mean, I'm sure she could pull it off.
I imagine that they're going to want to just have it be different. And they're going to have these characters talk, and they're going to just have them be their own versions. And they're not going to try to copy and paste from before. So, all right, next person, Charlie Day as Luigi. Now, he has been in Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes. He was also in with Chris Pratt in the Lego movies as Benny the astronaut. So,
I think he works.
I mean,
Yeah.
his voice is that weird raspiness that I don't know would fit Luigi. But I mean, I do like Charlie Day, so I mean, I'm all in. I have to see what his voice sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack Black as Bowser.
Ugh.
I love this. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Jack Black, but I don't know as Bowser. I want somebody more threatening.
Oh, I think he's gonna nail this as Bowser.
Yeah. I mean, I have to wait and see, but I'm kind of cautiously optimistic.
Now, just for listeners to know, me and New Jake are the only real super gamers here. Classic Jake, you're not a real gamer, right? You don't consider that something you do on a regular basis, right? Or no?
Yeah. And it's been decades since I've played Mario Brothers.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I know.
It's fine. I'm just putting that out there because it's interesting to see.
Yeah, and I actually prefer Rampage to Mario Brothers.
All right. And
I know.
I love Mario Brothers. I've dressed up as Mario.
Same. Yeah.
I have basically all of the Mario games, and so I love Mario games, and I grew up with Mario, so I'm very much excited for this in general speaking.
Yes.
All right. Next up, Keenan Michael Key as Toad. Love him. Love the actor. I think he's a great comedian. I think this could be a lot of fun.
But as Toad, I'd rather him be Donkey Kong, but as Toad, it's just Toad's kind of like, oh, hey guys, kind of. That would have been perfect for Charlie Day. He should have been Toad.
Well, you don't want to pitch, assume that because I don't know. I don't really want to have. Okay, I don't want to have black actors be monkeys. I think that's wrong.
No, I mean, what she said that, yes, but I mean, I think he could be a really good Donkey Kong. I mean, just based on his acting ability, not his skin color.
Anyway, Keegan Key is going to be. I think he'll be fun, but I think they're going to have different kinds of voices because, like you said, that Toad voice is just like iron. It's just like was it the nails on the chalkboard, and that can't be a full movie of him screeching like that. I know.
I mean, there's also multiple Toads, so it just depends if he's going to be that Toad or not. But they all kind of have similar like.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Hell yeah! I love Seth Rogen, man.
I mean, but can you imagine Donkey Kong having that voice that he does?
Yeah.
That laugh. I mean, that'd just be like, oh, that's not Donkey Kong.
Now, this is a weird one. Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. Why?
Yeah. I mean, he's not that old, and he's.
I like Fred Armisen. Don't get me wrong. He's great. Yeah. I love him.
Lloyd. I would have went with Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
But okay.
Somebody actually old.
Classic. Did you know who Cranky Kong is? Just to put that out there.
Not really.
Okay, so I want to explain this because this might be something that's kind of weird, but in the Donkey Kong Country game for the Super Nintendo, there was Cranky Kong and Donkey Kong. You played as Donkey Kong, but Cranky Kong was talking about his past being with Mario. So it is assumed, I don't know if it's canon or not. I mean, Nintendo Mario canon is all weird anyway, so whatever. But Cranky Kong is supposed to be the original Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong arcade game.
That's confirmed. Yeah, that's confirmed canon.
So he's cranky now that he's older, but he's the original Donkey Kong, and the current Donkey Kong in Donkey Kong Country games is the son, which was, I think, Donkey Kong Jr. at one point. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see a need for Cranky Kong to be in this movie at all because, I mean, Donkey Kong, sure, yeah, he's part of Mario universe. Bowser, absolutely, but like Cranky Kong has always been part of the DK universe, and yeah, it's kind of weird.
Maybe they're trying to set up a universe,
like a Nintendo verse.
Yeah,
We're gonna get a
exactly.
Zelda movie with Donkey Kong in it. Sweet.
Maybe.
So we got Kamek, which is the magician Koopa, as Kevin Michael Richardson. Do you know who this is or no?
He's a good voice actor.
He's been known to play in the Cleveland Show, in Teen Titans, in Invincible, and Avatar. I think he's the new Dr. Hibbert.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
So, I guess.
I mean, Kamek, I always thought Kamek was a female, because that laugh is like, hey, hey, hey. You know, I always assumed Wicked Witch of the West, so. I don't know.
And this last one is like, okay, does he really need to have a voice actor for this? I mean, are they going to have all the little villains be voicers? I don't know. Sebastian Maniscalco, I don't know who he is. I never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
He's supposed to be Spike. Okay. Okay. Do you guys know who Spike is?
I mean, I think he's a minion to Bowser, like an underling.
Yeah.
I think it's like there's like Iggy and Spike.
So Spike was introduced in Super Mario Brothers 3. He looks like a little green gremlin, and he throws up spike balls.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be like a big part of him, that every time he speaks, he has to throw up a spike ball or something.
Yeah.
Or if that's just like a feature that he does sometimes. But like, I don't know. Nintendo has been trying to get Spike as a regular character in Mario games lately, and just like such a minor character. I mean, kind of surprised they don't have a Goomba or a Koopa Troopa of some sorts.
Yeah, how come they don't have the Koopa kids?
Yeah. So
yeah, this is a weird cast release. It just seems like a lot of major characters and then some real minor characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the need for Cranky Kong at all. I don't see the need for Spike. If you're gonna have Spike, you have Goomba, have Koopa Troopa. You know, I guess maybe they're gonna. Some of these will have same. I don't know. Maybe they'll voice multiple creatures, but like, I don't know what the story is gonna be. If it's just gonna be like a origin tale, or if it's gonna be the same with Peach being kidnapped by Bowser. I don't know. I mean, Miyamoto has always done that same story. He's like, no one cares about the story. I mean, it is basic, but how are they going to make that into a movie?
Exactly.
Well, maybe it'll be like the Lego movie where it's like, oh, he's just an ordinary plumber who has to find the gumption to become the hero. And that just seems super generic, but that's probably what they'll go with. Prediction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they probably won't have a twist to it like the Lego movie did.
Yeah, like, if there's live action, man, it better be John Leguizamo's Luigi.
Yeah.
Well, we never got a conclusion to the post-credit scene at Super Mario Brothers where Daisy comes back and... or no, it wasn't post-credit. That was a before credits scene, I think, or mid-credits. So
yeah, it's before credits rolled.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be part of this. I'm assuming no.
Yeah.
But, I mean, are they going to, like... I don't know how they make it at all. Like, how does this work? Is he going to be collecting coins? Is it going to be bricks? I don't know how they make this into a movie.
Well, I mean, the teaser poster has the question block, so I assume that's going to be a major part of the film.
The canon for the original Mario Brothers is really weird. The story.
Yeah.
Classic Jay, do you know this by chance or no?
No.
Okay, you've played the original Mario Brothers from 1985, right?
Yep.
You know that
Times.
one. Mario 1, you know that game, right?
Uh-huh.
You
Jumps over barrels and...
No. No barrels in that game.
Okay, then I don't know it. I assumed he jumped over barrels to rescue...
No.
Then I have to...
That was Donkey Kong that jumped over barrels, and Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, the original, he jumps over Goombas, and then he gets the flagpole at the end. And in the original instruction manual, each question mark block and each brick has been turned into from a villager of the Mushroom Kingdom. So every time you destroy a brick, it destroys someone, which is really weird.
Yeah, he's murdered people.
Just because he's traveling around here. I mean, Mario Brothers, I love the games, but they don't really make any damn sense at all.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to have power-ups?
I'm not... Yeah, is he going to, like, be smashing all these bricks and you're going to have all these dead villagers laying around and stuff?
I mean, hopefully, like, if he does smash bricks, hopefully the 3D pops out and, you know, it makes it look great. That's all I want. I don't care about the carnage.
Is it going to have power-ups? Is it going to have a fire flower? Is it going to have a mushroom? Which power-ups?
Those are iconic. I mean, they have to be in the film somewhere.
I mean, how broad do you go? Do you have the star? Do you have the newer power-ups, like the cat suit or the giant mushroom?
I would say the star might be like he's battling Bowser, and then like he's getting defeated, but then he's like, looky here, I've got the star, and then that's going to be like the Deus Ex Machina moment.
No Yoshi.
No. I mean, maybe Charles Martinet is going to do Yoshi. I don't know. That could be a surprise casting.
Yeah. Is it? There's so much weirdness to the Mario franchise. Is this going to be in outer space? Because some of the games are in outer space. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, some are not even in the Mushroom Kingdom. They're in different parts of the universe. I mean, is the film going to start off in Brooklyn? Because that's where the Mario Brothers came from, was Brooklyn. Who knows?
How much of... Yeah, there's so much there that's like, okay, I desperately want to see a trailer for this movie.
Yeah.
Now, I assume that this will be a 3D movie. I think this is a safe movie to be 3D.
Yeah.
It's animated. Illumination has basically every single one of their animated movies have been 3D, right?
Yeah. Every single one.
Yeah, every single one. So there's absolutely no reason not to assume this is a 3D movie or not. Now I don't know where they're gonna take this story, how they're gonna make this work. It's gonna be a Christmas release, and you know what else is coming out near that same time?
No.
Avatar 2.
Well, that's going to be a nice family-friendly alternative, and if things keep going the way they're trending, then hopefully they'll be both huge hits that are like hundreds of millions, if not billions, for Avatar, then a solid $500 million for Super Mario.
So
yeah, let's hope they don't decide to alter the character designs like with a certain franchise that shall not be named.
I mean, is it going to be out there like Resident Evil? I don't think so.
Still haven't gotten a trailer for the new Resident Evil. That still irks me.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in like 2 months. We haven't seen nothing about it.
Nope.
I I mean, being a Christmas release, being a couple days before Christmas, it's gonna definitely be the number one movie that Christmas, and maybe Avatar 2 will be fighting it. But yeah, 2020 December 2022 is gonna be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's keep going because we could talk about Mario movie a whole lot because there's infinite things you can talk about with that movie. Is it gonna have the Tanuki suit? If he does have a Tanuki suit, will it be accurate to Japanese standards, quote unquote? Because that's not something that American audiences like to see, but in Japan, they're used to that, if you know what I mean. Classic Jake, do you have any idea what I'm talking about, or no?
Nope.
New Jake, do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm kind of slightly vague on. I know it's something interesting. Like I know, it's like a raccoon that turns into a statue.
Okay.
In the game, at least.
I'll let the listeners comment and tell me what you think that I'm talking about. Let's keep going here. So we got Clifford movie news, which is interesting because this movie was going to get a theatrical release, and then it got taken away, and then now it's going back on. So it's now coming out again in 2021, I guess.
Thanksgiving of 2021. Yay!
Okay, so who gets to carve this turkey up?
If it's 3D, I guess it'll be you.
That's a good question.
Here's praying for a 2D release.
So, probably will.
So this is coming out on November 10th now.
On November 10th.
So it's also coming out directly on Paramount Plus as well. Same day. No extra fee. So this might be kind of like how they released the puppy...
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol, where they had both releases, and whatever money they make from the theaters is whatever money they make from it, and they'll just eat it. And I don't think this is a 3D release at all that I know of. They haven't had any indication about this getting a 3D release.
No.
It looks terrible.
Yeah.
From the director of Alvin and the Chipmunks 4, I expected no better.
Yeah.
Yep.
The CG, I maybe warmed up to it, but it still looks bad.
Yeah.
The only interest Clifford had to anybody other than real smalls was John Ritter, and he's passed on, so we know he's not doing Clifford. So I don't think there's really an audience outside of very small children.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess parents who read it when they were a kid, they want to take their kid to see it, but I remember Clifford when I was a little boy. They would usually have them in big books, like, oversized books for novelty, because, to get Clifford's size, you need to have a book that's 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that is really kid-oriented. I think after, 7 years old, you kind of give up on Clifford. You kind of grow out of him, But, yeah, it might be 3D, but I doubt it. I really think it's very low chance.
Yeah.
Now, here's some lawsuit news.
Happy.
The Ditko family estate is suing Marvel and, I guess, Sony for rights for Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
It's just Marvel. I don't think Sony's part of it.
Oh, okay.
And it's not the movies. It's the comics. And several estates are being countersued by Marvel. And this is the comics division. I don't know how much interlap there is between the publishing and the studio, and all I know is Disney owns it all. It's going to be messy. It's going to be drawn out. And however it goes down, it's going to change, I IP forever.
Mm-hmm.
And in fairness, Ditko family does have rights. It's not like he's just making it up for no reason, you know.
Basically, what this is they're reclaiming the copyright. This has happened before, and so far, all of these have been settled out of court.
And
mostly.
That's basically what's going to happen. Without...
Yeah. Disney's going to blink, and they're just... What this counter lawsuit is they're trying to keep the settlement 6 figures instead of 7.
So, yeah, I think what's going to happen with this is nothing that we know of. It's basically going to be they will include him on the credits and pay him a percentage of everything and give him a payout, and that's going to be that. I think that's pretty much going to be how it happens.
But Bob Chapek is calling the shot, so he might get stupid.
Now, we kind of should mention that during the early comic books ages, these different studios really screwed over a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, work for hire contracts were nonsense. And the fact that they're trying to argue their rights on work, which ain't going to fly in the EU. These guys created characters that are worth billions, and they got a page rate of between $25 and $50, and that's all they got.
And, Shaman and Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, they had to fight, DC to get Superman, and I think they both died penniless or broke. And
Bill Finger, the guy who actually probably created the Joker outright and had a big hand in creating Batman, died penniless as well.
So, some of the comic book, making those characters back in the 30s and 40s, and in that time frame, like you said, the contracts were really crappy, and you never knew.
And Spider-Man was created in the late 50s. I don't know how much he saw print before 60s, but these guys and Ditko was when he started at Marvel, he was under 18, so I don't know how valid his contracts are. Anyway,
yeah, it's a legal hell because laws back then and laws now are two different kinds of sets of laws.
Yeah, and copyright is a nightmare.
Yeah, there's a lot of copyright trolls and a lot of weird things to those laws, and and
a lot of exemptions and carve-outs, and a lot of this is Disney's fault. So, honestly, and so Disney deserves this. This is karmatic retribution for how they've screwed up copyright law trying to protect Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, I think it's really weird because thinking back in time to the 1930s and 40s, making these funny pages comics, they didn't know that, 50, 60 years later that these would be multi-billion-dollar corporate, things, and they had no idea. They were thinking, let's make something fun now, make some money now, we'll get, a nickel a page or something. I don't know how they did that back then, but, that's what they were thinking, that we could make, $50 a book. And that's going to make us...
They would give them between $25, $50 a page to do the art. They kept the art. DC used to cut the art up into 1-inch squares and give it to fans so they could have a piece of art.
And, back in those days, there was no guarantee that anything you made a year later people will care about or remember, There's all these characters that are created and then they die right away. No one cares. So, when they were making these comics, they weren't expecting things to be how they are now.
They were disposable entertainment.
Yeah, they were thinking...
Yeah. They weren't like the status that they are now. They were supposedly ruining kids' lives back in the 50s.
Yeah.
They were just thinking of something
Or-
that might make them money for the next couple months.
Yeah.
So
You got something like 64 pages for a dime.
yeah, I don't know the prices, how all that worked out back then, but yeah, they would make $10 a month or something, and they'll be happy with that because that's better than nothing, And
Some of these things sold millions. I can remember when Stan Lee confessed that Marvel's #1 selling title was Millie the Model, because it was a funny book in the style of Archie, and it sold like wildfire at grocery stores. It floated almost the entire Marvel line.
and
Interesting.
a lot. I never heard of Millie the Model, and I've never seen any. If they've made that into anything, or if they've ever had anything modern wise, I don't know. But
Millie has showed up in She-Hulk. And Patsy Walker, Hellcat, comes from Millie the Model.
So it's it's interesting. It's a really interesting note of history, pop culture, and how these things were made. Almost a century ago.
Yeah, and you notice that you don't see new stuff. That's because the way these original artists, guys like Jack Kirby, were treated. Modern creators are like, F this. We want a stake in ownership, and we want paid. And the companies don't want to pay what this stuff is worth, so they're having to cling on to this old stuff that they got through work for hire.
And that's how Todd McFarlane and made Spawn.
That's why he left. That's why all the Marvel guys left and formed Image.
Yeah.
And then they turned out to be just as douchey as Marvel with the creators they hired.
All right.
Yeah, ask Neil Gaiman about Angela.
Yeah, there's just a whole lot there with interesting things with comics and the history. But yeah, I fully expect they get paid out, they get put in the credits, and we may heard about the results, but we probably won't.
We'll probably hear about this. It may not be front page news, but this isn't going to be resolved anytime soon. I mean, this could take 10 years or more.
All right. So we did get a Matrix trailer. New Jake, you haven't had a chance to talk about it. What are your thoughts on the new Matrix trailer?
I could just say that it's okay. I don't know. It just doesn't interest me that much.
Okay. Let's go to... Yeah, that's fair. I saw an interesting theory from Matt Pack. I actually really like this theory. That basically the Matrix 4 is like a reboot of the Matrix, in that in the Matrix series is a series, and that Neo has to be part of this new reboot in a way to comment on today's culture, and you just gotta watch it. But it's pretty surreal and very meta, and I think he has a very good idea. So definitely like Matt Pack on YouTube. His film theories are pretty cool.
That sounds like a good one.
Yeah. So let's get to listener mail. I did ask our friends on Discord, 3D friends, for some questions. And they gave us 2 questions. The first one's a big one, but we'll just have to go piece by piece. Rob Man says, what do you think of the future holds for 3D?
It's bleaker than the pandemic.
I'm more optimistic. It's either going to lead to glasses-free 3D or hologram technology.
Oh, eventually 3D will come back. And it may come back faster than it has in the past. But I think we're going to probably lose theatrical presentation for a while. We may have a bit of a little bump with VR, especially if VR glasses get cheaper and Oculus decides to not force people to have Facebook accounts.
I agree with Classic Jake that I very much think that we're on the I guess the lower part of the wave. Now, I think there's a big caveat here. I think Avatar 2's being pushed and pushed and pushed, the release date. I think it'll finally get its damn release date next Christmas when it's supposed to. And I think most theaters have been keeping the 3D just for that. They're thinking, okay, we have to keep it around. You know, I'm guessing that if you talk to some studios heads and some, theater owners, they probably would have given up on 3D years ago. But the idea that Avatar 2 coming back, they want to have the theater ready and have it there. They don't want to be caught flat-footed.
Yeah, and let's hope they don't screw the pooch like they did with the last Avatar. Yeah, and then they decide, if you want Avatar, you have to buy a TV and a Blu-ray player to get the disc instead of selling. Yeah, it took them how many years to eventually sell the disc? By then, there'd been like 4 or 5 waves of pirate discs flooding the market.
Well, okay. I'm thinking theatrical first. Theatrical, I think they have just been, okay, let's just keep it there, I guess. I think there's been a lot fewer releases that they have had. You basically have the opening weekend in America to watch it in 3D. And if you don't watch it in 3D in that opening weekend, you're screwed. You can never see it in 3D in theaters after that, which is really sad. And it's really hard for us to be able to do reviews because if we don't catch it that first day or two, we may never catch it. And I think they've just been kind of holding the water and saying, okay, Avatar 2 is going to come. And if Avatar 2 is as big as Avatar 1, that's going to make so much money for the theaters. And it will be worth holding on to. And if Avatar 2 is as big as Avatar 1 was, then that could be the real, reset. Okay, 3D, has been here for over 10 years. Let's go ahead and really push it out there because Avatar 2 led the pack with how 3D and, if Avatar 2 fails, like if it's a massive flop or considered disappointing, I think 3D is going to be killed off from that.
It'll be deader than disco almost instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
but then what about the third film? Because that was filmed simultaneously.
I imagine that Disney may pump that out and either put that on Disney Plus. I think they have contracts, so they probably will have to get it released. But they might just dump it sometime.
Dump it, and it'll have a minimal ad campaign.
But James Cameron has a lot of pull. I mean, it did get the seats filled for Alita somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think Classic Jake, you said before that there's a lot of contracts with the Real D ending soon, right?
Yep.
So those contracts,
and a lot of them are ending. But I don't know if they've been renegotiated because of the pandemic.
So that's where it's those contracts, those theater contracts. Are they going to be worth keeping or redoing? Because if they don't have it, if they can't even guarantee that they're going to make,
like is IMAX going to renegotiate with Real 3D or somebody else to bring Avatar to their big format? Because if you've noticed, IMAX isn't 3D anymore.
Dune is going to be IMAX 3D, so that's the rare exception.
Yeah, so it's not completely dead yet. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's going to be awesome. In fact, I may go see Dune in IMAX 3D, maybe.
Yep, there you go.
All right, so here's some actual news about the agreements. So AMC has extended their deal to 2024 with Real D. So
Awesome. So we'll be getting Avatar.
Cinemark through 2022.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
So if Avatar 2 does not make tons of money, guess what? No more contract. You're done. Move on. Because that's it. You can't wait to see you. If you're a big 3D fan, you have to watch Avatar 2 in 3D day one. Make it a big hit, because if it's not a big hit, they're not going to extend that. They may extend it one more year because of the pandemic, but I'm thinking that's from Variety. The other one's from Deadline. I think these contracts are going to be really interesting to see how that continues.
And Real 3D is pretty much the only game in town left. I don't know if Avatar is a big enough hit, and I don't know what will constitute a hit, because the pandemic will still be going on somewhat, probably. It could spur on other companies to challenge so there won't be a monopoly, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting, whatever happens.
So yeah, it's going to be those contracts are the real deal, because they're not going to give up on those contracts. It costs a lot of money to get out of contracts, and it's going to make people pissed, and there's no need to. So that's basically what they've done. They've been trying to do what's contractually obligated, to make. But I'm imagining behind the scenes, many theaters are like, whatever, they're just trying to survive, and they can't assume that 3D is going to save them.
A lot of indie chains have already ditched 3D.
Yeah. So that's where it is, and again, that this year and next year, you need to not wait around for movies. Oh, I'll see it next weekend. If you're into 3D, you got to see it today. You got to see it as soon as possible. You got to plan this out and get it on the Thursday night screen before it releases. Because if you don't get to see it, you're not ever going to see it. And they'll take that as indication that 3D is not worth keeping. Because if you wait till Sunday, and guess what? There's no 3D screens on Sunday. Well, then, no one wants to see it in 3D, but you can't do it until Thursday. That scheduling, you need to be on top of it, or else it's going to die again. I think 3D will always have a fan base of some sorts.
It does keep coming back because it is fun. It does have a fan base.
I think there's definitely some good uses of 3D. I think I remember in geology class looking at mountains and stuff. 3D just made it so much better to look at, look down on the maps and see that's a mountain, that's not a mountain, instead of having the color coding or whatever. And so, virtual reality has been kind of slow going, but, Sony is providing support for it. And there is continued support. There's rumors about Apple getting into the VR headset. And, if Apple does get into it, that'll be a big thing. But it might be a couple years before Apple goes into it. And Apple is not known to have cheap stuff. So how are they going to be, how is that going to work? I don't know. So we got one more question. This is a controversial one, but I think it's definitely worth asking. Alexander M. has said, how do you think fake 3D presentations affect 3D in general?
Severely.
And I'm thinking by fake, he means these German conversions and these Russian bootlegs that literally just shift the whole picture without breaking it up into planes. Extremely. You don't know how many people I know, their first 3D experience on home video was that Russian bootleg of Gladiator. One of my friends gave me a copy, and oh my god, it's horrendous. It's even worse than some of these crappy German conversions.
But they still sell, and people still buy them, and it's like no more deathful than a storybook with pop-outs. It's just... Nah.
And some of it's ignorance. They don't know better. And when they see this, they just go, 3D's terrible. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this Discord, I wanted to mention that there is a back and forth about what is considered fake and not fake. And we probably need to comment on that. Is post-conversions considered fake or not? And does that matter? Because I think that is a whole nother discussion, too. And I think a conversion can look as good, if not better, than a shot in 3D. I'm sorry. I know people get really defensive about that. But I think now, with movies and CGI, it's impossible to have things filmed in 3D and have CG characters later.
If you're on top of your game, you can shoot a film that's going to look better than any conversion ever will look. But most guys don't have the rig, don't have the lighting, and don't have the patience to shoot that way. But conversions are very good. I've given 10s to and editor's choice to conversions. There are some really, really good conversions. And then there's some hot garbage.
I think Marvel has really stepped it up and had some fantastic conversions. And I can't, how do you do a conversion of CG? You have to do a conversion. You have to, because you don't have these CG characters. Thanos is not actually a person. I mean, Josh Brolin is a person, but Thanos is a CG creature, and you have to have that to have your storytelling.
And CGI is basically animation, and animation can easily and perfectly be converted to look gorgeous. That's why if an animated movie doesn't have great 3D, it's a real disappointment, because there's no reason why it should not.
And like Terminator 2 never was intended to be 3D, but the 3D version of that looked awesome. Awesome. And Jurassic Park.
Wizard of Oz was never intended.
Yeah.
Predator. Top Gun.
If they put the effort in, they can make an awesome conversion. I really hate people that say conversions can't be good. No, it can definitely be great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're a long ways from the cardboard cutout conversions of public domain movies in the 90s during the last wave of 3D home video, the filled sequential days. Some of our older listeners might remember those.
So, I definitely think...
Yeah, today's conversions are light years beyond that.
People still can't believe that.
Like you guys said, the German fake movies, I don't know what the deal is with those, why they have those released, and I don't know how that works at all. That's just an interesting thing that I want to investigate, but it doesn't make any sense. You would think
there's this market in Germany for 3D, and it's just cashing in with whatever.
All 6 Sharknadoes are in 3D.
Yeah, and they're terrible.
Yeah, there's a reason why Gemini Man and Monster Hunter are exclusive to Germany in 3D, is because there's a huge market for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's an interesting thing, and we're gonna have to see how that continues, because I imagine that at some point people are going to get either pissed off, or those companies will not make enough money to continue, but they're still at it, and it's weird, but I definitely think post-conversion can look great, and there's definitely tons of examples, and a lot of things are not practical to film in 3D.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even Michael Bay had to use regular cameras for some of the Transformers movies he shot in 3D because it just wasn't feasible.
Mm-hmm.
There was that one Transformers movie that was shot in IMAX 3D, and it looked great in IMAX 3D. But I mean, they can't all of them shoot that way because you want to have the close-ups and you want to have, those cameras are expensive and they're big and they're clunky, so it's hard to do that.
Yeah, shooting natively, it's like you double the weight, and it's really hard to shoot close-ups with 3D cameras, so sometimes you have to do conversions.
Yeah, and lighting is a real bitch for 3D.
Yeah, it has to be brightly lit.
Heck, technically, and then you get guys like the Russos. I mean, their 3D for Marvel was amazing.
Yeah. As long as you have a great stereographer on set helping to plan out shots in 3D, then I have no problem with it. But if you want to be elitist and say that native 3D or bust, then you are going to be in a world of hurt when there's only like 1 or 2 films shot natively a year, if that.
And then there is likely to not get a home video release as anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think a lot of people always assume that everything's going to be awesome 3D. Not always. You're going to have some stuff that's just good. It's not everything has to be a 10 out of 10. It could be a 6. Not because they're lazy, but just because there's not that much they can do.
It's like it could be the lighting. It could be too dark. It could be whatever. But like there's
can fix a lot of stuff though too.
Yeah.
So it helps.
But there's also a lot of people who feel that the 3D is only just pop out. It's not depth. It's not various things. It's just it has to come out in my face or it's not good. And that's just a negative way of thinking about 3D or just a lack of understanding what 3D really can be.
I just wish the studios would let these conversions go deeper.
Yeah.
They're so worried about eye strain, they really kind of hobble it a bit. That's my only complaint with conversions.
I only worry about eye strain when there's fast cutting and movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a Michael Bay film.
Now, James Cameron has mentioned this, and I agree with his idea that,
But if you purist, if you really want to see 3D pushed to its limits, Goddard's say goodbye to language.
So James Cameron has said that they need to have 3D in mind, or try to have it in mind when they're directing the scenes and they're showing off the scenes. And that's something that maybe some directors, some producers are just not thinking about it. They're like, oh, they'll do that in post and not even give it a second thought. And
the afterthought.
Or the 3D is literally last minute, like Clash of the Titans.
And they may only have like 6 weeks to convert it, and they may not have
time
enough budget.
Don't do it at that point.
But like if you're on a Broadway stage, Broadway is the 3D theaters because how they do the presentation, they have people walking in the background, they have people in the foreground, they have people in the midground. And how they interact with everything is a 3D kind of environment. People kind of forget about it, but that's where it started. And then it got to film, and the film had to flatten it out because they didn't want to have all these things there. But to have really dynamic shots and cinematography, it kind of helps with the 3D because that's how we think. That's how humanity sees the world. We see it in 3D naturally. So if you're going to have a dynamic shot and an interesting kind of camera angle, that's going to help with 3D. So it's how you thinking about making the movie. If it's just 2 guys talking to each other on 2 different chairs, then you don't even, it's not going to be all that interesting in 3D. But it's how you present it, how you think about it, how you make the scene. That's important. You could have that shot in 3D, but who cares if it's just two guys talking? If it's
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm always game for conversions. They can be a 6 out of 10, not because they're bad, just because there wasn't that many things that could have good pop out or good depth. It just it wasn't made for that way, and they just had the money and they did what they could. But they didn't, they weren't thinking about throwing things at the audience or, having this, deep thing. It was just made. So they have to think about it being 3D, and it's hard for different directors and people. Maybe nowadays it's easier because we've had 3D for, 10 plus years. You think in 3D and think...
everything's digital. We're not living in an analog world anymore where it's a real pain in the ass.
So, yeah, fake, real, as long as it's good, it's all that really matters. As long as they do a good job,
Yeah. As long as you're immersed, they did their job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I can enjoy a fake Impossible Burger as much as I can enjoy a real Whopper. It's, it tastes pretty good. It tastes there. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. And, fake.
There's flavor there.
Yeah, there's flavor there. There's enough there that's,
nice texture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I guess that's going to be it. We could go on, but I think we had a good discussion here about real and fake 3D and the future of 3D and all the 3D news and movie news that's happening soon. Hopefully we get news on Resident Evil soon, because it's really annoying me that hasn't got the trailer for that yet.
I think it's going to be pushed to January, honestly, at this point, if there's no trailer, posters, or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if any movie gets delayed to next year, that will be the one. And it makes sense, because there's no need for it right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking Warner Brothers isn't announcing anything because they don't want to mess up their deal with Discovery.
Well,
or Discovery doesn't want it announced just yet.
That's a Sony property, though.
Why do I think it's at Warner Brothers?
I don't know.
PlayStation equals Sony.
Yeah. Well, Sony is... I guess they've got all their eggs in the Spider-Man basket, which is kind of dumb, especially with the Ditko suit and the Marvel countersuit. Because eventually it's gonna... And then the rumors of Sony being up for sale.
Yeah, and Apple wanting to get more into things. We never know how things are going to be. It's an ebb and flow of news, and we try to cover it as we can. And, we try to... We don't want to do these podcasts every other day because it's some news, but it's good to have a nice, big podcast like this.
Yeah.
Except for these days I go brain dead.
It's all good. I don't expect anything to get delayed, but Raccoon City might be one of them. Maybe Kingsman, just because it's kind of busy.
Yeah.
I imagine some of these will get delayed. Some of these 3D movies for fall of 2021 will get delayed, not because of COVID, but because it's just too busy. It might just be smarter financial sense, business end, just push Matrix to next year. I don't see why going against Spider-Man's a good idea, but that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy.
I mean, I think Disney might move Kingsman up to November or earlier in December. That might be a smarter move, so it doesn't have to compete with Spider-Man, because it's been ready for almost 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to have Kingsman be November, early November or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's less films to see in December. Spend more time with family,
and it would be a perfect Thanksgiving escape from the family movie.
Exactly, see an R-rated gore fest. All right.
Hey,
we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll try to cover it. That's gonna be it for this. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D, Mr. Bengal 5, and Kevin Winter for your financial support on patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.